तुष्ट्यै सदा भगवतश्चरणारविन्दद्वन्द्वावलम्बविभवं तव मेद्य देहि स्तुत्यै मुकुन्द सुगुणार्णव सर्वभोग्य लक्ष्मी नृसिंह मम देहि करावलम्।
Kirtan, Kirtan.
Kirtan. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Kunja Vihare Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhare Yasodanandana Bhajaganandana Jamuna Tira Vanajare Jamuna Tira Vanajare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihare Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtotra Sadasi Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Om Vishnupada Paramahamsa Parivrajakacharya Ashtotra Sadasi Srimad His Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhartha Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Ananta Kodi Vaishnav Vrindi Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Sako Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinde Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to the assembled devotees. All glory is to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glory is to Srila Prabhupada. Krishna Sthapada Krishna Bhakti Vedanta. विशेष समय पश्चात ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitamena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual master opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him and to all the members of the Guru Parampara. Vancha kalpatirubhyascha kripa sindhubhyevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like desired trees, fulfilling the desires of everyone and are full of compassion for the fallen, conditioned souls. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. On behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, I'd like to warmly welcome each one of you on this auspicious Appearance Day celebration of Lord Narasimha Dev. Today, Lord Narasimha Dev appeared in this most extraordinary form of half man, half lion from a pillar. So the term appeared fits wonderfully well for this incarnation because the Lord mystically, miraculously just appeared from the pillar. So there's no birth, there is no boyhood, there is no childhood. The Lord just miraculously appears in this half man, half lion form. And Lord Narasimha Dev is not different from Lord Krishna. And our Acharyas tell us, just like the gems exhibit different colors when different lighting is applied to it, so the Supreme Lord appears in different incarnations or as avatars. There are many, many avatars. Actually, it's countless. It is said, Advaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Ananta Rupam. Advaita means one without a second. Achyuta means one without decay. And Ana Adim. Adi means first or origin. Ana Adim means without origin. And Ananta Rupa means unlimited forms. Just like the number of waves cannot be counted, the number of avatars or incarnation of the Lord cannot be counted. And this is the instruction of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sanatana Goswami. And avatar or incarnation means one who descends. So where does the avatar or incarnation descend from? We need to know that. Is it from, we are in Bhuloka. Is the avatar or incarnation descending from Bhuloka, Bhuvarloka, Swargaloka, or Janaloka, or Mahaloka, or Tapaloka, or Brahmaloka? Not from anywhere. It is from way, way beyond. It's from the Vaikuntha planets that the incarnation of the Lord descend. So that is the definition of avatar or incarnation. And from the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that Lord Narasimha is the 14th incarnation of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And according to Dasavatar Stotra by Jayadev Goswami, Vedan Uttarate Jagati Vate Bhulokam Udviprate Daityam Dharayate. Daityam Dharayate is the fourth incarnation, one who tore apart, the Daitya means demon, Hiranyakashipu's chest. So Lord Narasimha is the fourth of the Leela Avatar. There are 6 main categories of incarnation of the Lord. One is Purusha Avatar, Leela Avatar, Guna Avatar, Manvantara Avatar, Yuga Avatar, and Shakti Avesha Avatar. So these are the 6 main categories of the Lord, and in each category there are unlimited forms of Lord Krishna as avatars or as incarnations. So today we will hear this most glorious appearance and pastime of Lord Narasimha. Now, Lord Narasimha's pastime is mentioned briefly to an extent in Canto 1, and a lot of it is mentioned in Canto 3, but majority of the pastime of the Lord is in Canto 7 of Srimad Bhagavatam. So when you add all these up for us to understand from start to finish, from beginning to the end of this Leela, it takes us to over 700 verses. To over 700 verses means Bhagavad Gita has got 700 verses. So this pastime alone is so big that it is much bigger than the volume of Bhagavad Gita. So we'll try to do justice in the next 45 to 50 minutes to hear this wonderful, glorious pastime from start to finish. Verses in Bhagavad Gita, one after the other, in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, verses 7, 8, and 9. It answers the question as to when does the Lord appear, why does the Lord appear, and what do we gain by hearing the appearance and pastimes of the Lord. So it's very important for us to know any avatar or any incarnation. So here, Lord Krishna instructs Arjuna, Yada idai dharmasya glanir bhavatir bharata. So whenever and wherever there is decline in religious principles, I myself appear. So that's the reason. So Lord Krishna is explaining, when does the Lord appear? Whenever there is decline in religious principle, the Lord appears. Next question. Why does the Lord appear? Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatuskrita. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants and to re-establish the principles of religion. So that is why the Lord appears. And the third question, which is in the next verse in the 4th chapter, is what do we gain, or what do we gain when we hear the glorious pastimes and activities of the Lord? Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tatvata Tattva devam punarjanma netimam veti sorjuna. So here Lord Krishna is explaining, anybody who knows about my transcendental appearance and pastimes upon leaving this body will not be born again. So these are wonderful 3 verses, one after the other, that tells us when does the Lord appear, why does the Lord appear, and what do we as conditioned souls get when we hear this wonderful appearance and pastimes of the Lord. But there are 2 more wonderful benedictions that are given by Narada Muni to Yudhishthir Maharaj and through Yudhishthir Maharaj to all of us. And the first benediction is anybody, which is all of us today, we are going to hear this wonderful pastime as it is from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is spanning over about 15 chapters in many of the cantos. When we hear the wonderful appearance and pastimes of the Lord, it is said that we will certainly be delivered from material bondage without fail. So there are two confirmations, certainly and without fail will be delivered from material bondage. And the second benediction is that we will surely go back home, back to God. And just by hearing faithfully to this wonderful pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam, we can all go back home, back to God. It's such a shortcut that is given to all of us. And by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we get to read and hear this wonderful pastime from Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the ripened fruit of the Vedic tree of knowledge. So with that, keeping that in mind, as to there are so many benedictions for us to hear this transcendental pastime of Lord Narasimha, we need to know what is the trigger. So the trigger for this entire pastime was that one evening, Diti and her husband is Kashyapa Muni. Kashyapa Muni is the son of Marichi, and Marichi is the mind-born son of Lord Brahma. So one evening she wanted to have children, so she was inquiring from Kashyapa Muni if they can have some physical union, and Kashyapa Muni, who's well versed with Vedic knowledge, he said this is not the appropriate time for any physical union because it is a forbidden time, because Lord Shiva will be going in bull carrier Nandi with many of his ghosts. And if anybody has any thought of getting children at this period of time, then the women or the lady will be pregnant with ghosts or demoniac personalities. Didi did not listen, she could not tolerate that, and the act was done, and she was repentant after that. And then Kashyapa Muni, who can see the future, said, because of this forbidden act in this inauspicious time, and because you are disobedient to my instruction, you will beget two demoniac personalities. You will give birth to two demoniac personalities, and they will wreak havoc, not just in a small town or city, or not just in the whole world. They will wreak havoc in the entire universe because of this forbidden act that was done at the inauspicious time. And then Diti, when she heard this, she was heartbroken. But then Kashyapa Muni said, the two demoniac sons of ours that you will give birth to, they will be killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then she was relieved, knowing that the Lord himself is going to incarnate to kill her sons, which means they will get liberated. So therefore, Kashyapa Muni said, because of your faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you will also have a grandson. One of your grandsons will be ocean of pure qualities. Reservoir of all good qualities will be one of your grandsons. And the grandson is the great Prahlad Maharaj. And the two demoniac sons will be Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. So in due course of time, Diti was pregnant with these powerful embryos of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. And they were so demoniac in nature that even before they were born, they were creating havoc in the universe. And the first thing that they did was, the sun and the moon became impaired. Impaired means it lost its shine and the power. So sun is there to shine, moon is there to shine. And both of them, sun and the moon, lost the power to shed light. They were impaired. So the demigods ran to Lord Brahma for help. And they knew what is the proximate cause. Proximate cause is the cause that is closest to the effect. So the demigods knew that the proximate cause of this diminishing power of the sun and the moon is the pregnancy of Diti, but they did not know the underlying cause or the root cause as to why this sun and moon have diminished in power. So they go to Lord Brahma, and Lord Brahma is Trikal Agya. He knows past, present and future, and he starts narrating this wonderful pastime as to what is the underlying cause for the birth of Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha and who they actually were. So here Lord Brahma is narrating this pastime to the demigods, which we are going to hear. the 4 mind-born sons of Lord Brahma, and they are 4 Kumaras. 4 Kumaras are eternally 5-year-old and they don't wear any clothes. They are like small children eternally, even though they're the second oldest. After Brahma, they're the second oldest. So here, they wanted to go to Vaikuntha. So they go towards Vaikuntha and they cross the 6 gates of Vaikuntha, and at the 7th gate of Vaikuntha, the gatekeepers of Vaikuntha, Jaya and Vijay, who also have 4-arm form, they stop the 4 mind-born sons of Lord Brahma. Sanaka, Sanatana, Sanat Kumara. These are the 4 mind-born sons of Lord Brahma. Now, materially, even if we have to go meet our manager or if we have to go for an interview, we get dressed so well and go. And just imagine if you have to go meet the President of the United States to White House, how well we have to dress and go. But in spiritual world, it does not matter. But the 4 Kumaras cursed the gatekeepers because of their mentality of duality. Duality means good and the bad, enemy and a friend. You are dressed well, you are not dressed well. You are young, you are immature, you are not. So these are the duality. So the 4 Kumaras said, the mentality of yours, the duality nature is not prevalent in Vaikuntha. It is only in material world. So we curse you to be born in material world. So right after that, Lord Narayan himself on foot comes with Garuda and Goddess of Fortune. And when he came to that place where the 4 Kumaras were there with Jaya and Vijay, the 4 Kumaras fell at the feet of Lord Narayan, and the breeze carried the aroma, the tulsi leaf on the toes of Lord Narayan, and it entered the nostrils of the 4 Kumaras. Immediately the 4 Kumaras became personalists. It is said at that time, up to that point, they were impersonalists. But when the tulsi aroma entered their nostrils, they became personalists. They became a great devotees of the Lord, of the personalized form of the Lord. And they offered obeisances and they took leave. All the four Kumaras left. And Lord Narayan spoke to Jaya and Vijay and he said, you have 2 choices. One is, you can be born for 7 lifetimes on earth as a devotee of the Lord, or 3 lifetimes as my enemy. So Jaya and Vijay took this latter option because they thought comparatively is lesser time to be away from the Lord so that they can go back to serve the Lord as soon as possible. So they took the second option of being born for 3 lifetimes as the enemy of the Lord. So as we know retrospectively, the 3 lifetimes of Jaya and Vijay are Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha. They are born to Kashyapa Muni and Diti, because Diti wanted children like her 13 co-wives. So Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were born to Diti and Kashyapa Muni. That's the first lifespan of Jaya and Vijaya on material earth. The second lifetime of Jaya and Vijaya is Ravana and Kumbhakarna, and they were born to Vishrava and Keshini, the mother. And the third lifetime of Jaya and Vijay in Dwapara Yuga. So the first Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha in Satya Yuga, and Ravana and Kumbhakarna in Treta Yuga. And the third life cycle of Jaya and Vijay is Dandavakra and Sishupal, born to Damogosha and Shrutakirti. So that's the 3 lifetime of Jaya and Vijay. This we know retrospectively. But here, still continuing with this pastime, Diti is still pregnant for 100 years, and there's all these inauspicious activities are taking place. And after 100 years, Jaya and Vijay as Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha are born. Right after they were born, there were so many natural catastrophes that were taking place. And what were they? First is there was earthquake everywhere. And there was so much of fierce winds that are blowing, that are uprooting the trees from the root level. Trees are being uprooted, huge trees are being uprooted. And she-jackals, when they are crying, they were vomiting blood. And when they are milking the cows, it's all in Srimad Bhagavatam, when they are milking the cow, instead of milk, blood is coming. All inauspicious signs because Jaya and Vijaya, Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha are born. And when it is raining, it is said instead of water, pus is coming. So it's all inauspicious activities are taking place, and eventually Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were born, and they became so powerful, and in no time Hiranyaksha means gold, Hiran means gold, Yaksha means eyes. So Hiranyaksha gained so much power, and he carried his club and he destroyed and defeated everybody. And he had this mystic power, he can go to a higher planetary system. So he went to Indraloka to challenge all the demigods to fight with him. But all the demigods hid before he can go there. They didn't want to fight with him. They don't have chance of fighting with Hiranyaksha. He was so powerful. So nobody was there. Heaven was free, vacated. Nobody was there. But Hiranyaksha is in the mood of fighting, so he's disappointed that he can't fight with anybody. So he goes all the way from there to Vibhavari. Vibhavari is the headquarters of Varuna, who's in charge of the oceans. So he goes there and he challenges Varuna, now come and fight with me. Varuna put his hands together to Hiranyaksha and he said, I am old. I cannot fight with you. Here's a demigod, one of the most powerful demigods, and he said, I have retired. I cannot fight with you. Your only competition is Lord Vishnu. So eventually, Hiranyaksha meets Lord Varahadev when he is lifting the earth from Garbhodaka ocean, which had fallen because of his gold rush, and then Lord Varahadev killed Hiranyaksha. Lord Varahadev Bhagavan ki jai. So right after the death of Hiranyaksha, Hiranyakashipu is so angry and he's biting his lips and he's looking at the sky. And it is said that when he was so angry and looking at the sky, the whole sky was blackish in color with smoke because of his anger that was emanating from his eyes. And he called all his demoniac servants and he said, I am going to go and cut the head of Lord Vishnu. So this is in Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's preposterous for anybody to think that way. But he said, I'm going to go. I'm so upset that Lord Vishnu killed my brother Hiranyaksha. I'm going to go and cut Lord Vishnu's head. And when I cut Lord Vishnu's head, I will be really happy. And my brother Hiranyaksha will be really, really happy. And when the head of Lord Vishnu is cut, then all the demigods also will naturally die. So in this statement, there is truth in this statement. The second part of the statement, somebody thinking that they can even go near the Lord to attack the Lord is preposterous. But when he said that when the Lord's head is cut off in one way, that all the demigods will also die. Because in the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we read this wonderful verse, Yatataror Muna Nischanena Triptendi Tatskanda Bujopasaka. Here it says, when you pour water to the root of the tree, every part of the tree is energized. The fruit and the leaf. You don't pour water to the leaf and the fruit separately. So you pour water to the root, every part of the tree is energized. Similarly, when you put food to the stomach, every part of the body is enlivened. We don't put food to the eyes or ears. We just eat through the mouth and it goes to the stomach and we are all happy and energized. Similarly, in that same verse it said, if you offer devotional service to Lord Krishna, that is good enough. Don't worry about any other demigods because all the demigods are within the body of Lord Krishna. So when we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, you don't have to worry about, oh, should I go to that temple there which I used to go 20 years ago, 10. You don't have to because every demigod is part of Lord Krishna according to this wonderful verse. It's a categorical statement for all of us. So here he says, I'm going to go and sever the neck of Lord Vishnu and I'm going to kill Lord Vishnu. That is what Hiranyakashipu is angry and he's commanding all his servants, demoniac servants, and he said, when I am busy in killing Lord Vishnu, all of you go and kill the cows. All of you go and kill the Brahmins and you also destroy the house in which they are reading the Vedic literature. So all the demoniac personalities went and destroyed the cows, the cow pens, the Brahmins, and all the places were put on fire where they are reading the Vedic literature. So he destroys everything through his servants and he performs the Shraddh ceremony for his dead brother. Even though he's a demon by nature, he's a Brahmin because Vishrava is a Brahmin, his father. So he knows the Vedic rites and he performs Shraddha ceremony. And after that, he goes and preaches to Rushabhanu. Who's Rushabhanu? Rushabhanu is the wife of Hiranyaksha. So the wife is lamenting because the death of her husband, and the nephews of Hiranyakashipu are also lamenting because of the father's death. And the mother, Diti, is also crying because Hiranyaksha is dead. So at that time he preaches amazing Vedic literature. In a way, he gives the condensed form of chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, the science of soul. He gives the science of soul to Rushabhanu, to Diti, to the nephews, and he says, we are not the body, we are the soul. So why are you crying? He's not the body. Even Hiranyaksha, even though he's angry, but he's preaching. Hiranyaksha is not the body, he's the soul. So technically he's not dead. And he goes on to narrate a wonderful pastime about a king called King Suyagya in a land of Usinara. He had many queens. This happened many years ago. This is Yamaraj himself goes to the wives or the queens of Usinara, and their husband is dead. Usinara is dead and the queens are lamenting. At that time, Yamaraj in the form of a 5-year-old boy is coming and instructing them on the science of soul, that he's not the body, he's the soul. So your husband is not dead in one way because soul is eternal. And he pacifies them wonderfully. So this is a story that is narrated by Hiranyakashipu, and he's narrating a pastime about Yamaraj's instruction to the queens of Usinara, the king, King Suyagya in the land of Usinara. And then Yamaraj also instructs a story which is very simple for all of us to understand as well, about a Kulinga bird. You may have heard the story. There is a Kulinga bird, father bird, and then there is a Kulinga mother bird, and then both of them had baby Kulinga birds. One day there was a hunter that came and with his arrows he killed all the baby birds. Now the mother Kulinga bird was lamenting so much, crying so much. In spite of the hunter being nearby, the mother did not worry about the hunter, blindly went to see if the children are safe or dead, and the hunter takes the next arrow, releases it, the mother is also dead. And the father Kulinga bird, watching his children are already dead, watching his wife is also dead, but he also, without thinking, goes to see if he can help and assist in his wife's survival or his baby survival. And the next arrow he takes, and father Kulinga bird is also dead. So here, Yamaraj is instructing, whatever has happened, even though they are not the body, they are the soul. You have to think of God realization, and philosophical conclusion should be thought about, not blindly going after the material body even though it is dead. So that is the instruction of Yamaraj to Suyagya's queens, and the same pastime is narrated by Hiranyakashipu to Rushabhanu, the wife of Hiranyaksha. And then they stopped lamenting actually. They stopped lamenting after this wonderful instruction from Vedic literature and these wonderful pastime, and they progressed towards understanding the philosophy of life. And what did he do? Hiranyakashipu, after instructing them, he started to go towards Mandara Hill. Mandara Hill, from the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that this hill is 80,000 miles high and it is made of gold. And from the 8th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand this Mandara mountain was used as the churning rod when the demons and the demigods were trying to get this nectar out, Amrita out. So he went to this Mandara hill to perform severe austerity. It is inconceivable for us to think how anybody can do this. But of course, this is in a different yuga. His aim was to be the undisputed ruler of the entire universe, including Brahmaloka. And how did he perform the austerity? He was standing on tiptoes with his arms raised for how long? 100 celestial years. Now 100 celestial years, this is not 100 earth years. 100 celestial years, Prabhupada is given in his purport, it's 216 million years. 216 million years, inconceivable, we can't even think. How we can think of is, even though this was the mode of passion, because he wanted sense gratification eventually, when we are trying to chant 64 rounds once a year, maybe we can think what we are doing is nothing compared to some of the austerities. Even though it is the mode of passion or ignorance, we can take the determination from these type of austerities. So for 216 million years, he was standing on tiptoes with his arms raised. Now when we are in the Arati, when Kirtan is going on, sometimes we try to raise our hand. So let's at least raise our hand for 10 minutes if it's possible. If not, for 216 million years, he did that. And at the end of his austerities, tapas, there was so much of fire coming from the head of Hiranyakashipu that the planets and the stars started falling down. Because of the heat that was generating, planets and the stars started falling down. Now, if you remember, the demigods ran to Lord Brahma the first time when Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha were in the womb of the mother. At that time itself, the sun and the moon got impaired. Now the second time, the demigods are running to Lord Brahma because the stars and the planets are falling down one at a time like a fruit falling from a tree because of this immense heat that is generating from the head of Hiranyakashipu. So immediately Lord Brahma comes in his swan carrier. It's like Lord Vishnu's carrier is Garuda. Lord Brahma's carrier is swan. So he comes in a swan carrier along with Daksha, Bhrigu Muni and other great saints. And when they came, they can't even see Hiranyakashipu. They can see the fire, but they don't know where he is because he's totally covered by anthill. Anthill has totally covered him. And also the worms and insects and ants have totally devoured him. All the blood is gone, the skin is gone, flesh is gone. He was surviving, his life air was within his bones. That's how he was surviving. You're talking about 216 million years. And then Lord Brahma eventually spots him and he takes his kamandalu, his water pot, and takes some transcendental water and splashes on the bones, whatever was left behind of Hiranyakashipu. And immediately he gets a molten golden form and he becomes as strong as thunderbolt. And he becomes so young and effulgent, according to Srimad Bhagavatam, so young and so effulgent and so strong. And then he offers wonderful prayers to Lord Brahma. And Lord Brahma is very impressed with his austerity and yajna and his prayers. And he says, tell me what you want. Now, even though he was performing severe austerities, in the corner of his mind, he knew what he's going to ask. So he takes a big list of benedictions that he wanted. Unbelievable benedictions he asked. I do not want to be killed on earth or on sky, inside the palace or outside. I do not want to be killed in the morning or in the evening. I should not be killed by any living entity or human being created by you, Lord Brahma, not by any animals, not by any nagas. I cannot be killed by any weapons. The list goes on and on and on. So this is like the supreme life insurance policy. Life insurance policy also when when the person dies, someone else gets it. This is life protection policy, he cannot die at all. That's how he's thinking. In one way, when he's asking this benediction, if he cannot be killed inside or outside, somewhere you have to get killed, inside or outside. So he gets this supreme protection plan, and the Lord Brahma grants the boon because he's bound to give that. Like demigods, it is said, you go to a shop, you ask for something by giving the money, the shop owner is bound to give you that. So like that, this severe tapas was performed and Brahma had to give him this benediction because he can give that benediction. Immortality, no, he cannot give, but all this he can give. So he got the benediction and he went and captured all the 3 planetary systems. And he's occupying Lord Indra's palace. So Hiranyakashipu is in Lord Indra's palace and it is said that he's drinking wine and liquor and his eyes are like copper. That's the color of Hiranyakashipu's eyes. It's always rolling. But it is also said in Srimad Bhagavatam, in spite of him capturing everything and getting all sorts of material wealth, so we are all aiming for, many of us are still aiming for material wealth. So here, Hiranyakashipu got everything that anybody can imagine materially, but it is said that he was still lamenting. He was not satisfied. So it's a lesson for all of us. In spite of us aiming for anything and eventually getting it, we still want something more than what we got, or we don't like what we aimed for many years ago. He got everything, but he's still not satisfied because he was the servant of the senses and he did not control the senses. So that's what Srimad Bhagavatam teaches us. And Hiranyakashipu and Kayadu is his wife, they had 4 sons. And the best of the 4 sons is Prahlad Maharaj. He was a reservoir of all good qualities, ocean of all good qualities. He was very gentle, humble, very tolerant in nature. He was able to control the mind and senses. And it is said in Srimad Bhagavatam that he was like a father to the poor. He was like a brother to somebody who was equal to him. And he was like a menial servant to respectable people. So he was so humble. And he was under the guidance of Sukracharya, the spiritual master of all the demons. Sukracharya's 2 sons, Sanda and Amarka. They were the 2 sons. They were the teachers of Prahlad Maharaj. So they started teaching Prahlad Maharaj what the subject matter? Politics, sense gratification, economic development, as though he doesn't have enough money. Economic development, what more can they get? And Prahlad Maharaj was least interested in any of these topics. And one day, Hiranyakashipu calls Prahlad Maharaj, places him on his lap, and he said, "My dear son," because even the demoniac person will have a soft spot. Everybody likes their children, sons. So he's such a beautiful personality, Prahlad Maharaj. So Hiranyakashipu took him on his lap, and he said, "My dear son, tell me what is the best subject that you have learned." Like we ask our children, math or science, what is your best subject? What is the best subject that you have learned? And what does Prahlad Maharaj say? Anybody who's got this temporary material designation and who's got this temporary designation of father and the mother and children who are fallen into this blind well. There is no water there, but there is only misery and suffering. So the only remedy is for that to go to Vrindavan, become Krishna conscious and pray to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Here he's asking, tell me what is the best subject. This is something that Hiranyakashipu least expected. That we are all in this Andakupa, blind well. It's full of suffering, there is no water. So he was startled to hear that, but then he controlled himself and he called Sanda and Amarka and he said, beware, protect him from Vaishnavas, because it looks like he's being influenced by Vaishnavas. He's talking about Krishna consciousness and Vrindavan. It is said in Srimad Bhagavatam, protect him from Vaishnavas. And then he went away. Sanda and Amarka take Prahlad Maharaj and the second round of training on economic development, politics, sense gratification. So now they are very confident that they've taught this boy very well. Now they can take him to Hiranyakashipu again, because Hiranyakashipu, if he's pleased, he will reward them accordingly. So they take Prahlad Maharaj. This time again, Hiranyakashipu places Prahlad Maharaj on the lap, and this time tears are being shed by Hiranyakashipu and it's moistening the beautiful face of Prahlad Maharaj. This time he does not ask what is the favorite subject. What is the best knowledge that you have gained from your teachers? And what is Prahlad Maharaj's reply? Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Padasevanam Archanam Vandanam Dasyam Sakyam Atma Nivedanam. The 9 process of devotional service. He was burning in anger. Hiranyakashipu cannot take this. He was very angry at Sanda and Amarka and he said, you traitors, you have taken shelter of my worst enemy Lord Vishnu and you have taught in the 9 process of devotional service. Right away Sanda and Amarka fell at the feet of Hiranyakashipu and said, no, master, we did not teach him all this. We do not know where he is learning all this from. And then immediately Hiranyakashipu looked at Prahlad Maharaj. And what did Prahlad Maharaj say? Matirna Krishne Parata Swadova Mito Vipatyeta Graha Vritana Adanta Gopi Visatam Tamistram Puna Charvita Charvananam. It's a very, very frequently quoted verse by Srila Prabhupada. Puna Charvita Charvananam. He says, those who have got this material attraction, they make progress. Yeah, where do they make progress? Towards hellish condition of life. One who's got uncontrollable senses make progress towards hellish condition of life, and they continue to chew that has already been chewed. Like a cow, the cow chews, there's no taste, like chewing gum, keep chewing, there's no taste there. So, chewing the chewed, their inclination towards Krishna is never aroused either by their own endeavors or by the instructions of others, or by the combination of both. So more and more Hiranyakashipu is getting angry. The very next verse, Nate vidur swatagati mi Vishnu, durasayaya bahirarthamaninaha, antayatani upaniyamanas, tepisa tantram, urudami badaha. For those who are in material condition of life, they accept another guru or a leader who's also blind. Just like a blind man is led by another blind man and they miss the right path and fall into the ditch, one materially attracted person led by another materially attached man, they're bound by this fruitive labor and they continue again and again in this materialistic way of life, suffering the threefold miseries. And he also says, Prahlad Maharaj, that the only way to get attracted to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna is to smear yourself with the dust of the lotus feet of Vaishnavas. Hiranyakashipu had it. This is something that he cannot take it. This is the highest form of instruction that he is not willing to accept because he thinks he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he calls all his servants, demoniac servants, kill my son right away. So it's unimaginable. A father is instructing his servants to kill his son, and the mistake of the son is to love Supreme Personality of Godhead. So here the demons take very, very sharp tridents and they try to pierce into the body of gentle Prahlad Maharaj. Nothing is happening. Nothing can touch Prahlad Maharaj. So they try with the trident. They take huge stones and they throw on Prahlad Maharaj. Nothing is happening. Then they take him to the highest mountain and they push him down. Lord protects Prahlad Maharaj. They expose him to severe heat, severe cold. Nothing is affecting Prahlad Maharaj. They throw him under the feet of wild elephants. They throw him in a pit of poisonous snakes. They starve him. And after starving him, they give him poison. Nothing has got impact on Prahlad Maharaj. Now if you're wondering, how is this possible? To get an answer, we'll have to go to 11th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in the Uddhava, Lord Krishna's instruction to Uddhava. There it is said, Krishna is instructing Uddhava, just like water does not affect the fishes. The fish is in water, but the water does not affect the fishes. Similarly, poison, fire, and other dangerous thing does not affect a pure devotee who is in devotional consciousness. So this is the highest form of perfection that Prahlad Maharaj has attained. And so there's no impact. And then Hiranyakashipu said he's like a dog's tail. You know, dog's tail, when you try to push it down, you take your hand, it comes back again. So he knew that you cannot change this consciousness of Prahlad Maharaj. And he's really lamenting what to do. Sanda and Amarka pacify Hiranyakashipu, and he's still a small boy. We will fix him. Give us the third chance. You know, 2 chances they failed. Give us the third chance, we will fix him. That is not a problem. But for now, let us arrest him with the ropes of Varuna until our father Sukracharya returns. And then they arrest him with the rope of Varuna. And then now they put him with his classmates. Now his classmates are also there. And what does a devotee do? He goes and preaches Krishna consciousness to all the classmates. They are demons' sons. And wonderful preaching. And he says, you know, at a very early age, everybody has to take into Krishna consciousness. Because human life is 100 years only maximum. And out of 100 years, 50 years is already gone. How is that? Because 24 hours a day and 12 hours a day, almost all of us are sleeping or performing activities related to sleeping. So 50 years is gone out of 100 years, right? Half the time we are sleeping. And Prahlad Maharaj says, 10 years is gone when we are baby form because we are bewildered, not knowing what to do. Another 10 years when we are children playing sports and games. That's what it says. You know, that in modern times you have to include all the video games and Xbox and everything else, right? So that's another 10 years. And another 10 years goes away in the family life with wife and everyone else. And it is also said 20 more years in old age, with disease and old age. So in one way, if you are not in God consciousness, even if you live up to 100 years, it's no use, it's because there's no time left, that's it. And then he goes on to say how the body goes through 6 transformations. The body goes through birth, then growth, then sustenance, then reproduction, then it is dwindling, and then death. But he says this is only for the body and not for the soul. So wonderful instructions. And Sanda and Amarka, what they do, this time they know that they cannot control. Before they could not just control Prahlad Maharaj. Now all the sons of demons are also God conscious. But they asked one intelligent question, the sons of the demons. How come you know all these God conscious things about, six transformation, that we should not waste our life? Where did you learn? You are always with us, and we all have the same teachers, Sanda and Amarka. Where did you learn? Very, very intelligent question, because he's always with them. Then Prahlad Maharaj says, I learned this when I was in the womb of my mother Kayadu. When Hiranyakashipu went to perform this severe austerity, at that time, Indra came and arrested Kayadu when she was pregnant with Prahlad Maharaj. And then Narada Muni mystically appears, as he usually appears, and he said, she is sinless, Kayadu is sinless, and so is the baby in her womb, faultless and sinless. I am going to take them, keep them in my ashram till Hiranyakashipu returns. And he preaches wonderful devotional, transcendental knowledge to Kayadu and to so Prahlad Maharaj in the womb got all these wonderful instructions, and he tells all this to the boys, demoniac sons, that this is how I learned the transcendental knowledge, and all of them are converted into God conscious, Krishna conscious devotees, Vaishnavas. And Sanda and Amarka fall at the feet of Hiranyakashipu, and they say, we give up. We cannot. We tried our level best to train him in economic development, sense gratification, but he's least interested. He's already influenced by Vaishnavas. He's a pure Vaishnava, and not only that, he's actually converted all the demons to be Vaishnavas as well. Hiranyakashipu, last time when he was angry, he asked all the demoniac servants to kill him. So they tried to pierce him with trident. They took him to them. This time he said, I'm going to take care of this. So immediately he said, you obstinate fool, I'm going to kill you. And he takes the sword and he's about to kill him. Even at that time, what does Prahlad Maharaj do? He preaches. He's about to try to come and kill Prahlad Maharaj. He said, my dear father, your strength, Lord Brahma's strength, my strength, everybody's strength is coming from the same source, Supreme Personality of Godhead. And you may have captured your enemies from 10 directions. And you may have captured, you may have destroyed and defeated the enemies from 10 directions, but you have not destroyed the 6 enemies within you. So 6 enemies within him were lust, anger, greed, envy, pride and illusion. He said you can destroy anybody, but if you don't destroy the 6 enemies within you, you will be defeated. And he goes on to say, do not look at anybody in the platform of an enemy or a friend, but in the platform of equality. So amazing preaching. Then Hiranyakashipu said, you said that there is a supreme being other than me. So he's thinking he's a supreme Lord, Hiranyakashipu. You said there is a supreme being other than me. If there is a supreme being, let me see if he can protect you. If he's also in this pillar, let's see if he's in this pillar. So he takes his fist and he thrusts into the pillar. And from this pillar, a very, very threatening sound comes. It's a sound that nobody's heard before, and it is said when that fearful sound came from the pillar, it was heard in Brahmaloka. It was heard in Brahmaloka, the fearful sound from that pillar, not because Hiranyakashipu hit that wrist, but the Lord appeared from that pillar. Now, I think a few weeks ago, there was a fertilizer blast in a city called West in Texas. Some of you may have heard that. Now, that sound was heard 80 miles away. 80 was, that was like unbelievable. 80 miles away it was heard, that fertilizer blast. Now, if you do a search in Google, there is a volcano that erupted in 1883, and that was heard, Krakatoa. You may have heard Krakatoa, a volcano. That was heard 3,000 miles away. Now this sound from the pillar, this fearful sound was heard in Brahmaloka. Now if you're wondering how far is Brahmaloka, right? So for that we go to 5th canto, the purport of Srila Prabhupada, and he gives the number. It is close to 2 billion miles. Brahmaloka is 2 billion miles away from surface of earth. From where we are, it's 2 billion miles. Just imagine this sound of this fearful sound of this pillar cracking was heard 2 billion miles away in Brahmaloka. And the Lord appeared. So today is the auspicious appearance day of Lord Narasimha, and the Lord appeared in this magnificent form of half man, half lion form. And it is said that the Lord's shiny mane was increasing the dimension of the Lord, and the Lord's eyes were molten gold in color, and the ears of the Lord were so erect and motionless, and the nostrils of the Lord and the mouth of the Lord were looking like the caves of a mountain, and the sharp tongue of the Lord was like a dueling sword, and the teeth was so sharp, and the Lord's arms extended in all directions with all the weapons. But he did not kill Hiranyakashipu with any of the weapons, because that is one of the boons that Lord Brahma had given. And he was so angry, and he caught Hiranyakashipu, and Hiranyakashipu had a sword in his hand with an armor as well. He caught Hiranyakashipu, and right away he let him go. Now all the demigods are watching this live performance from behind the clouds. They are all scared. They are watching from behind the clouds, and when the Lord let Hiranyakashipu go, their jaws dropped. They were scared. They were perturbed by this. What is going to happen now? And Hiranyakashipu took his sword and the armor, and he started flying to the sky, and then came back to earth again. And the Lord caught him, placed him on his lap, took him to the doorway, placed him on his lap, and ripped apart Hiranyakashipu. And he took the intestines, it is Srimad Bhagavatam, he uprooted his intestines and wore it as a garland, like a victory garland. He wore the garland of his intestines, and he uprooted his heart and he threw it away. And all the demoniac assistants of Hiranyakashipu came charging, and it is said that he ripped and killed them apart with his nails. So he kept all the benedictions of Lord Brahma intact. He was not killed on earth or in the sky, because he was neither here or there. He was on the lap. He was not killed by a man or an animal. He came in this half man, half lion form. He was not killed in the daytime or in the nighttime. He was killed during the dusk. And he was not killed inside or outside. He was killed on the doorway. So all the benedictions were kept intact, but he was killed. And Hiranyakashipu, after his death, Lord is still very, very angry. And it is said when Lord was breathing, the oceans and the seas were getting agitated. He was so angry. And when he pressed his legs, it is said that the mountains and hills were formed. The waterbed, right? When you press the bulge in the waterbed, what happens? It goes and forms elsewhere. Like that, when earth is pressed, automatically it forms as mountains based on the pressure of the Lord. And the Lord is still very angry, and all the demigods headed by Lord Brahma, Lord Indra, all of them came and tried to pacify the Lord. Amazing prayers are there in Srimad Bhagavatam. They tried to pacify the Lord, but the Lord is still not pacified. Then Lord Brahma called Goddess of Fortune, Lakshmi Devi, can you please go and pacify Lord Narasimha? Now Lakshmi Devi is always eternally in the chest of the Lord, in the Srimad Samar. But in this case, she can't even go near the Lord, because the Lord is so angry still. Then Lord Brahma looked at Prahlad Maharaj. You are the only one person that you can go and pacify the Lord Narasimha. So Prahlad Maharaj comes and offers wonderful prayers. Yasmat priya priya viyoga samyoga janma sokagnisa sakala yonisu dayamana. So here Prahlad Maharaj says, because of the combination of pleasing and displeasing effect, one is placed in this most miserable condition, either on heaven or in the hellish planets. Although there are many remedies for discomfort, remedies are more miserable than the miseries themselves. So remedies are more miserable than the miseries themselves. We have seen that, right? We take one medication for something else goes wrong after. So here Prahlad Maharaj, millions of years ago, he's given this solution. If you watch a serial like Judge Judy, there are a lot of advertisements. Anybody who's taken this for your heart problem, and then you got other problem, please contact us. Millions of dollars are waiting for it. So remedies are more miserable than the miseries themselves. And he says, I'm not worried about materialistic condition of life because I'm always engrossed in your loving devotion. My only worry is these fools and rascals who have got this elaborate plan of enjoying in this material life which is not possible at all. And I don't want to be liberated by myself, leaving these fools and rascals here. What a compassionate person. And he says, I do not want any benediction. I do not, and Lord says, I want you to ask a benediction. And Prahlad Maharaj says, I do not want any material benediction. Again he says, because material benediction is a hurdle in the path of devotional life. I am your eternal servant and you are my eternal master. Jivere Swarupiyaya Krishna Nityadas. And he says, give me a benediction that I do not want any material desire. That is his benediction. Amazing request by Prahlad Maharaj. And then the Lord commands Prahlad Maharaj, I want you to enjoy material benefits as a king for 71 yuga cycles. 71 yuga cycles means 300 million years. So 216 million years is 100 celestial years. Now here 71 yuga cycles means Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga and Kali Yuga multiplied by 71. That comes to 300 million years. You will be the king. Enjoy whatever you need to enjoy during this time. And at that time Prahlad Maharaj says, can you please forgive my father? If I can ask you one thing, please forgive him. Now his father is the one who tried to kill him in so many different ways, asking the servants to pierce with sharp tridents, throw heavy stones, throw him from the highest mountain, throw him under the snake pit and under the elephant's legs. And what did he ask? Please forgive my father. And the Lord said, not only your father is purified, Hiranyakashipu is purified, but 21 generations are also purified. So Prabhupada in his purport says that if some devotees are there, devotees can purify many generations in their family. And also Lord says, pure devotees like you will not just purify your dynasty, but also the whole country, and everybody should follow you. Mahajano enagata sa pantaha. He's one of the 12 Mahajans. And the Lord instructs Prahlad Maharaj to do Shraddha ceremony for his father, to Hiranyakashipu, even though he's a demoniac personality. And in the end, he turns to Lord Brahma and he says, do not feed milk to a poisonous snake. Never ever give a benediction like this to demons. And he wants Lord Brahma. So before we close, the lessons to be learned here from this wonderful pastime is that the Lord is there to eternally protect us. Lord Narasimha is there to eternally protect us. Like how Prahlad Maharaj was protected when he was pierced with a trident, when he was thrown stones on, when under the elephants and snake pit. Just like that, if we have faith, the Lord will eternally protect us. And the Lord will destroy our material propensities, just like Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu means, Hiran means gold, Kashipu means hair or soft bed. That is a perfect combination of materialism. So just like he destroyed Hiranyakashipu, he will destroy our illicit material activities and thought. And also what we can learn from Prahlad Maharaj is the compassionate nature, tolerant nature, how he asked for forgiveness of his father's sinful deeds. And what is impossible for us is easily possible to the Lord. So the demigods, they get scared when Hiranyakashipu lifted his eyebrows and they are helpless. But for the Lord, he killed him like how a wasp is killed with a fingernail. Lord Narasimha Bhagavan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Premanande.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale
Srimade Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine.
Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Navadi Jayo Jayo Gaura Shanti Arati Kishoka
Jaya Jaya Shanti Arati
Sangabaje, Gandabaje, Madhu Madhu, Madhu Baje, Sangabaje, Gandabaje, Madhu Madhu, Madhu Baje, Madhu Madhu, Madhu Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ramo, Hare Ramo, Ramo Ramo, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Hare
प्रभुपाद की फाउंडर आचार्य इस्कॉन गुरु बीबीटी गुरु शिला चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय नमो तेलील प्रवेश परमहंस पुरुषाचार्य अष्टोत्तर शिला भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर गोस्वामी महाराज प्रभुपाद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की गंगामय की जय अमरमय की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपनाथ राधा कुंड श्याम कुंड गिरिगोवर्धन की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्रमय की जय वृंदावन धाम की जय मायापुर नवदीप धाम की जय मथुरा धाम की जय प्रेम से कहो जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय हरिनाम संकीर्तन महायज्ञ की जय श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय श्री श्री राधा गोपी वल्लभ की जय प्रहलाद नरसिंह की जय नरसिंहदेव अपीयरेंस डे की जय भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी की जय समवेद भक्तवृंद की जय गौ सीतानाथ all गरिष्ठ समृद्धि all गरिष्ठ समृद्धि all गरिष्ठ समृद्धि all गरिष्ठ श्री श्री गुरु गौरंगा हरे कृष्ण all गरिष्ठ श्री प्रभुपाद all गरिष्ठ श्री गुरु गौ सीतानाथ प्रेमानंदे
Nityananda Gauri Vaishnava Vrinda Jai Gaurame Hare Hare.
Are fasting till dusk, but it's continuing now. So, on behalf of ISKCON Scarborough, I'd like to welcome each one of you to this auspicious celebration of Lord Narasimha Dev's appearance day. Hare Krishna. So we'd like to start off by thanking our sponsors today, and we'll call out the sponsor's name. So we'd like to call upon Yogeswaran Prabhu to come forward. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We thank Prabhu and the family for generous contribution of $201 towards today's program. We'd also like to thank the second sponsor for today, but the mother is not here. Pushparani mother, please give her a warm welcome. She's currently in Germany and she'll be back next week. So we'd like to chant one Hare Krishna for her. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Now I'd like to call upon Chiman Panchal Prabhu and Babita mother or anybody from the family to come and accept a small token of appreciation for the contribution of $501. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Once more, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. And we have one more sponsor for today. Varadarajan Prabhu and Mahalakshmi, $501. This is for their upcoming 50th marriage anniversary, which is going to take place next month, which is very rare. So please chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. One last time. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Thank you. Please give them a warm round of applause to all our sponsors today. So we'd like to specially thank Paripurnadas Prabhu and Adoksha Priya Mataji. Give them a warm round of applause before we say the beautiful deity dress that you're seeing here is sponsored by them. And also the beautiful deity jewels are sponsored by them. And also put your hands together. They got initiated, Prabhu and Mataji got initiated last week, Brahminical initiation in Columbus, Ohio. So we thank Prabhu, Mataji and all the sponsors for today to the Lord to grant pure devotional service at their lotus feet. And this beautiful deity dress that you see is sponsored by Prabhu and Mataji and has been lovingly stitched by Tara Mother. So Tara Mother's Prabhu's there, right there. Please give him a warm round of applause. You can pass it along to Mother. And today's flowers, the beautiful flowers that you see, they're all real flowers. They're not fake flowers, by the way. All the beautiful flowers today are sponsored by ISKCON Scarborough Prabhu. There are quite a few sponsors. And Vijay Teli Prabhu, Mother Lalita Mata Priya. So please give them a warm round of applause. The wonderful flowers are sponsored by them. And you can see the beautiful decorations. So we'd like to thank Vijay Tari Prabhu and Sushila Radha for the wonderful And we'd like to again thank Mother Lilojini for sponsoring the whole month's rent of $1,200. And last but not least, we thank all the devotees who wonderfully prepared, lovingly prepared a great feast today. It's all awaiting us in the next few minutes, and we're going to serve the prasadam right here. For those of you who are familiar with our special event prasadam distribution, all the Prabhus will be sitting here facing each other, and the loving devotees will come and serve the prasadam right here. So Matajis also will be facing each other. Now, to the last but most important event of today, as today is Lord Narasimha Dev's appearance day. Today we will invite a few of our sponsors today to unveil Lord Narasimha Dev today at ISKCON Scarborough. So we'll call upon all the sponsors today. Somebody from Chiman Panchal's Prabhu's family can come here, right here. As they are coming, you can chant Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama.
Also, we like to call upon one of Varadarajan Prabhu or Mother Mahalakshmi. One of you can please come here. Hare, please continue.
Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama.
One loving member from Yogeshwaran Prabhu's family. And we'll also like to call upon Lilojini mother to come forward as well. Please come forward. So each of you can take one scissor, if somebody can hand over the scissor. And they are going to unveil Lord Narasimha Dev's picture for all of us today. And there is nothing for us to get scared, as Pankajangri Prabhu from Mayapur is instructing us. Even though the lioness is very, 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 very fearful, but the lioness is very, very affectionate and gives so much of protection to its cubs. So similarly, Lord Narasimha Dev is protecting all the devotees from all the dangers that we may have to go through. So let's chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra as they come forward and cut their ribbon to unveil Lord Narasimha Dev at ISKCON Scarborough today. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Lord Narasimha Dev Bhagwan ki jai. So Lord Narasimha Dev Bhagwan will go to the wall there, probably in the next day or two. Hare Krishna. And a couple of more quick announcements on it. June 8th is our 4th annual Sankirtan cruise. How many of you are excited? Let's see. And all of you are hungry, but it's our 4th annual Harinam Sankirtan cruise, where we are renting this ship with a capacity of 300 devotees, and we'll be going for a 5-hour cruise in Lake Ontario on June 8th, which is a Saturday from 12 to 5 p.m. So for those of you who have not reserved your ticket, please see one of us after this program and we'll reserve your ticket. And on September 7th, Saturday, is the first Medicant Park Jagannath Festival of ISKCON Scarborough. And also tomorrow, the radio program, the weekly Tamil radio program continues in Geetamani radio station. You can log on to www.geetamani.com. Even if you don't have the radio set, you can hear this program through the internet. It's from 10 to 11 a.m. tomorrow. And also for those of you who have been here, we've had a parade of exalted devotees in the last few weeks, starting with His Grace Kratu Prabhu, then it was His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, and then it was His Grace Rohini Priya Prabhu. So we're so fortunate to have that wonderful association. They come from different parts of the world. So more devotees are expected as we approach the Rath Yatra, 41st annual Rath Yatra. Hare Krishna. So it's already late, we understand that, but being an auspicious day, we would like to chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra one full round, so please bear with all of us for another 7 to 8 minutes. We'll go a little bit fast, not too slow. So I would like to request Radha Govindari Prabhu to take us through one round of chanting, a little bit faster today.
And also we have to give a big applause for Ananda Gauranga.
Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Shri Advaita Gadadhara, Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Everybody together. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Shri Radha Gopi Vallabh Mahaprasadam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Anant Koti Vaishnava ki jai, Jai Gaur Sitana Premana.
श्री नृसिंह कवचम् नारद उवाच इन्द्रादिदेववृन्देश ईड्येश्वर जगत्पते महाविष्णो नृसिंहस्य कवचं ब्रूहि मे प्रभो यस्य प्रपठनाद्विद्वान् त्रैलोक्यविजयी भवेत्। ब्रह्मोवाच शृणु नारद वक्ष्यामि पुत्रश्रेष्ठतपोधन कवचं नरसिंहस्य त्रैलोक्यविजयी भवेत्। स्रष्टाहं जगतां वत्स पठनाद्धारणाद्यतः लक्ष्मीर्जगत्त्रयं पाति संहर्ता च महेश्वरः। पठनाद्धारणाद्देवाः बहवश्च दिगीश्वराः ब्रह्ममन्त्रमयं वक्ष्ये भ्रान्तादिविनिवारकम् यस्य प्रसादाद्दुर्वासाः त्रैलोक्यविजयी भवेत्। पठनाद्धारणाद्योऽस्य शास्ता च क्रोधभैरवः त्रैलोक्यविजयस्यापि कवचस्य प्रजापतिः। ऋषिश्छन्दस्तु गायत्री नृसिंहो देवता विभुः क्षौं बीजं मे शिरः पातु चन्द्रवर्णो महामनुः। ॐ उग्रं वीरं महाविष्णुं ज्वलन्तं सर्वतोमुखम् नृसिंहं भीषणं भद्रं मृत्युं नमाम्यहम्। 32 मन्त्रो मन्त्रराजः सुरद्रुमः कण्ठं पातु ध्रुवं क्षौं हृद्भगवते चक्षुषी मम। नरसिंहाय च ज्वालामालिने पातु कर्णकम् दीप्तदंष्ट्राय च तथा अग्निनेत्राय नासिकाम् सर्वरक्षोघ्नाय च तथा सर्वभूतहिताय च सर्वज्वरविनाशाय दह दह पदद्वयम् रक्ष रक्ष वर्म मन्त्रः स्वाहा पातु मुखं मम। तारादिरामचन्द्राय नमः पातु हृदं मम। क्लीं पायात् पार्श्वयुग्मं च तारो नमः पदं ततः। नारायणाय नाभिं च आं ह्रीं क्रौं क्षौं च हुं फट्। षडक्षरः कटिं पातु ॐ नमो भगवते पदम्। वासुदेवाय च पृष्ठं क्लीं कृष्णाय क्लीं ऊरुद्वयम्। क्लीं कृष्णाय सदा पातु चानुनी च मनूत्तमः। क्लीं ग्लौं क्लीं श्यामलाङ्गाय नमः पायात्पदद्वयम्। क्षौं नृसिंहाय क्षौं च सर्वाङ्गं मे सदावतु। इति ते कथितं वत्स सर्वमन्त्रौघविग्रहम् तव स्नेहान्मया ख्यातं गृह्णीयात् कवचं ततः। गुरुपूजां विधायाथ गृह्णीयात् कवचं ततः। सर्वपुण्ययुतो भूत्वा सर्वसिद्धियुतो भवेत्। शतमष्टोत्तरं चास्य पुरश्चर्या विधिस्मृतः। हवनादीन् दशांशेन कृत्वा तत्साधकोत्तमः। ततस्तु सिद्धकवचो रूपेण मदनोपमः। स्पर्धामुद्धूय भवने लक्ष्मीर्वाणी वसेत्मुखे। पुष्पाञ्जल्यष्टकं दत्त्वा मूलेनैव पठेत् सकृत्। अपि वर्षसहस्राणां पूजानां फलमाप्नुयात्। भूर्जे विलिख्य गुटिकां स्वर्णस्यां धारयेद्यदि। कण्ठे वा दक्षिणे बाहौ नरसिंहो भवेत् स्वयम्। योषित्वामभुजे चैव पुरुषो दक्षिणे करे। बिभ्रयात् कवचं पुण्यं सर्वसिद्धियुतो भवेत्। काकवन्ध्या च या नारी मृतवत्सा च या भवेत्। जन्मवन्ध्या नष्टपुत्रा बहुपुत्रवती भवेत्। कवचस्य प्रसादेन जीवन्मुक्तो भवेन्नरः। त्रैलोक्यं क्षोभयत्येवं त्रैलोक्यविजयी भवेत्। भूतप्रेतपिशाचाश्च